Often we see people rushing out to the marketplace to purchase some revenue management software, not knowing what they really want, and you end up at the whim of the supplier saying this is the best thing for you or this is what works, and you just basically adopt their philosophy. So what we're hoping to show you here today is the 5 things you need to look out for in setting up a revenue management system, and therefore what you should be looking for when you're, if and when you're ready to purchase some revenue management software. So to frame things up a little bit first, what Andreas is going to run through is 3 things on each of these 5 components, and that is what data you need to be trying to collect, where you can get that data from, and then ultimately how to give it some meaning, because that's, at the end of the day, the purpose of this. It's great for data and analytics and reports and charts to be sitting in front of you, but what does that actually mean? It's actually got to turn into an action at some point. And you'll see towards the end there we talk about context and confidence. And it's, if we can get the right information in front of you with context with other data points, that will give you the confidence to make different decisions with regards to your revenue management. So with that little introduction, I'll now hand over to Andreas to run through these 5 components of revenue management.
Thanks, Mick. So the first component we look at is your business on the books, or your BOB. We usually source that data out of either your property management system, your PMS. You can also potentially get that out of a business intelligence tool or a revenue management system, should you have any of those. You then use that, the data that you want to get access to is your rooms sold, your actual rooms revenue, and your room rates, both historically and going forward, so that you can then build more information out of that. So that's the business on the books component. The next component then is your pick up and pace, which relates to your business on the books. Effectively, what you're doing is you're comparing one time frame of your business on the books with another time frame of the business on the books. Usually, if we run this on a daily basis, we compare it to yesterday to check what sort of pickup we've seen since previous time. But also to get context, you want to look at potentially last week, last month, maybe last 3 months to see what that pickup has been. Component 3 is your pricing. So once you have your BOB and your pickup, you want to put that into context with what's going on with your price. Price is one of the levers that you can use to impact your demand and get rid of some of your rooms, or potentially get a higher ADR out of them. So you look at your pricing, but it's also important that you compare it against your competitors. Some OTAs actually do give you access to that information. Alternatively, you can use specific software that does that for you as well, like an OTA Insights or a Rate Gain or something like that, and they actually collect that data for you. You then want to overlay that and compare changes that has happened to the rate, so you can quickly see what sort of changes has happened both for yourself and for in the marketplace in regards to rates. The fourth component then, which is very important, is like look at what's happening in the wider marketplace. What events are there around? Is there a public holiday? Is there a conference going on in the area, or possibly in your hotel? Have you got a big group in, or a competitor have a big group in? Is there a festival around? Is there a concert? Whatever it may be, whatever you can track that potentially may have an impact on a demand. And then the important thing is to not only track it for the future periods, so that you can look at your future dates, but you also keep that information from previous periods, so that you can overlay your comparisons for last year and actually get a little bit of context in what's going on from what happened last year. And then the fifth component that we want to look at is whatever other market data intelligence is out there in the marketplace. For example, rate shoppers often have some sort of an indicator of what the demand is out there. We know that STR has historical data that we can look at. They now also, in some markets, supply future holdings by market, so you can get an indication of what the demand is like going forward. And then we want to align that to all those other data points. So if you remember, component 1 was BOB, pick-up pace, pricing, events, and the market intelligence. If we can line all of that information up in one super spreadsheet and one super document or software, so that we can get context in regards to what's going on for any specific day, where we've got that fundamental starting point, I guess, in terms of making our yielding decisions.
I think probably important to add there, Andreas, I guess in module 8 we look at a data matrix. You know, that's our data management module in the Hotel Growth Gurus, and we talk about the matrix of internal and external data versus future and historical data. And basically what we're seeing here is a mashup of all 4 of those data points. That you do have your own data historically and into the future, and external data historically and into the future, and it's the bringing those data points all together is what provides the context for you to help make those revenue management decisions on the go.
Yeah, well said. Remember that your strategy should be leading your decisions and what you want to do, what you want to look at, not the other way around. Don't let the technology decide how you want to go about doing it. Once you've decided on your strategy, then there might be a technology solution that can assist you in going forward.
And the perfect example of being technology led is that often we hear from hoteliers who have got a revenue management automation formula that comes as part of perhaps their PMS system. And the trouble with that is you don't really understand what's happening in the market. You haven't got your finger on the pulse, and you're letting a formula drive all the decisions. So hope you all enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video.